Hey, how it's going guys, you are watching FreeCloud Gaming YouTube channel. In today's video I will show you top 5 4GB RAM low-end PC games which are less than 5GB in size, but keep that in mind that all the above 5 games in this list are not ranked. Which means that the number of the game will not define the quality of the game. So now let's get started, but before the intro.
Let's roll.
3, 2, 1.
On number 5 spot we have Gears of War. Gears of War is a media franchise centered on a series of video games created by Epic Games. Gears of War is a third-person shooter game, with its core concepts being derived from Resident Evil 4's over-the-shoulder perspective, kill switch's cover system, and Bionic Commando's swinging action akin to moving between points of cover. The series focuses on using cover to tactically engage the enemy in battle to avoid taking damage. While behind cover, the player can fire blindly and inaccurately at their opponent, or can look around the cover and aim carefully. Though exposing to enemy fire, the player can slide along cover, move between nearby cover, or vault over cover to race to a new point of cover. As the player takes damage, the Crimson Omen appears on the HUD, becoming more defined as the player nears low health levels. The player can regenerate their health by staying out of harm's way for a short while. Should the player take too much damage, they will become incapacitated unless revived by a teammate. Depending on game mode, the player may be able to recover from this state on their own, or may die after a short amount of time if not revived. When a combatant is down, a member of the other side may attempt to execute the downed player via a curb stomp or other brutal methods. Some types of damage will immediately kill the player with no chance of revival, such as explosive damage. So definitely worth a try. On number 4 spot we have Mafia 2. Mafia 2 is a 2010 action-adventure game developed by 2K Czech and published by 2K Games. It was released in August 2010 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. The game is a sequel to 2002's Mafia and the second installment in the Mafia series. Set within the fictional city of Empire Bay, loosely based on New York City, with several aspects of Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Boston, and Detroit. During the 1940s and 1950s, the story follows Sicilian-American mobster and war veteran Vito Scaletta, who becomes involved in a power struggle among the city's mafia crime families while attempting to pay back his father's debts and secure a better lifestyle. The game is played from a third-person perspective and its world is navigated on foot or by vehicle. The player character's criminal activities may incite a response from law enforcement agencies, measured by a wanted system that governs the aggression of their response. There are 50 vehicles in the game as well as licensed music from the era. Depending on the weather during the course of the game, vehicles handle differently. For example, during the early chapters in winter, vehicles are more likely to slip on the road due to the ice. So definitely worth a try. On number 3 spot we have Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is a 2010 action-adventure video game developed by Ubisoft Montreal and published by Ubisoft. It is the third major installment in the Assassin's Creed series, and a direct sequel to 2009's Assassin's Creed 2. The game was released for Microsoft Windows in June 2011. The plot follows the centuries-old struggle between the assassins, who fight for peace with free will, and the Templars, who desire the same but through control. The framing story is set in the 21st century and features series protagonist Desmond Miles who, with the aid of a machine known as the Animus, relives the memories of his ancestors to find a way to avert the 2012 apocalypse. The main story takes place immediately after the plot of Assassin's Creed 2, featuring assassin Ezio Auditore di Firenze in 16th century Italy and his quest to restore the Assassin Order, and destroy his enemies, the Borgia family. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is set in an open world and presented from the third-person perspective with a primary focus on using Desmond and Azia's combat and stealth abilities to eliminate targets and explore the environment. Azia can freely explore 16th century Rome to complete side missions away from the primary storyline. The game introduced a multiplayer component to the series, portrayed as a Templar training program. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is an action-adventure video game with the main emphasis on non-linear, sandbox-style gameplay, parkour movements, crowd-blending stealth, assassinations, and melee fighting system. The combat system features several improvements and for the first time in the series, so definitely worth a try. On number 2 spot we have Sniper Elite V2. Sniper Elite V2 is a third-person tactical shooter stealth video game developed and published by Rebellion Developments in 2012. It is the sequel to its 2005 predecessor Sniper Elite, which takes place in the same time frame and location, the Battle of Berlin in April to May 1945, but with an altered narrative. The game's story follows an American Office of Strategic Services officer who must capture or eliminate the scientists involved in the German V2 rocket program while the Red Army invades. Sniper Elite V2 is a third-person tactical shooter that emphasizes a less direct approach to combat, encouraging the player as a sniper to use stealth and keep distance from enemy soldiers. Many of the single-player levels allow multiple routes for the players to take, including multi-story buildings and side streets to get vantage points and avoid direct firefights. Set in World War II, the player character utilizes appropriate weapons for the era. The sniper rifle is the primary weapon throughout the game, though additional sidearms are available including submachine guns and pistols, silenced or not depending on the situation. In addition to hand grenades, the player can deploy them as dripwire booby traps, landmines and dynamite. Binoculars can be used to tag enemies in view, displaying their position and movements to player. When using the sniper rifle however, certain elements can determine the outcome of a shot, taking realistic ballistics into consideration including wind direction and strength and bullet drop potentially altering the shot through the scope. Bullets can ricochet off surfaces or targets and strike others. In different postures such as crouching or lying down on the front can also steady a shot, however the player character also has the ability to take a deep breath to further steady a shot and from their perspective slow down time. Another ability is when the player character is spotted, their last movements and position to the enemy is shown as a white outline figure, potentially allowing the player to escape that area and avoid further detection and alarms being raised. So definitely worth a try. On number 1 spot we have Crysis 2. Crysis 2 is a first-person shooter video game developed by Crytek, published by Electronic Arts and released in North America, Australia and Europe in March 2011 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. The game is the second main installment of the Crysis series, and a sequel to the 2007 video game Crysis, and its expansion Crysis Warhead. Crysis 2 is a first-person shooter. Similar to its predecessor, it provides freedom to customize weaponry and abilities. Players are able to navigate between floors and buildings, as well as a destroyed cityscape. The player assumes the control of a Force Recon Marine named Alcatraz, who gains ownership of the Nanosuit 2.0 from Army Delta Force Officer Lawrence Prophet Barnes, who returns from the original Crysis. Crynet Systems has been hunting Prophet to retrieve the suit, inadvertently pursuing Alcatraz, believing he is Prophet. The aliens seen in the original game have undergone a major redesigning, abandoning the ancient, tentacled exosuits seen in the first game for high-tech humanoid armored war machines that stalk Alcatraz through the ravaged New York City. So definitely worth a try. So that's all for today's video guys. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe and press the bell icon and give this video a thumbs up, to show how much you like the video in numbers. And guys, meet you in the next video. Till then, stay home and stay safe, and most importantly take care of yourselves. Bye.